Hello, I'm Isaiah Crawford, and I'm doing discussion 8, Beats in New York Schools. The Beat generation was a group of writers interested in changing consciousness and defying conventional writing. The end of World War II basically marked the beginning of the Beat generation of writing. The heart of the movement was in San Francisco. The Beats poets were fighting against social conformity and influenced people to embrace individuality. Beats poets rebelled against social norms and were influenced by modernists, romantics, and jazz. Romantics influenced them because just like the Beat poets, they were rebelling against intellectualism. And jazz influenced them because just like the Beat poetry, jazz was seen as scandalous and against social norms. The characteristics of Beat poetry are that it is a formless type of writing, and the writing used drugs, sexuality, and nature. The drugs were used as a reference, and the poets claimed the drugs helped their creativity. Sexuality, the writers spoke candidly about sexuality, such as gay and being bisexual. Some poets, like Ginsberg, were openly gay. Nature, they had a high respect for nature and would portray it in their poetry. Gary Snyder's RipRap. In RipRap, Snyder's comparing writing poetry to building a riprap, which is a loose stone used to form a foundation from a breakwater or other structure. The author uses nature to portray the theme, them that, like a riprap, we need to grasp on the words presented in poetry and better understand the complexity of the poem. In lines 21 through 25, the author states, granite ingrained with torment of fire and weight, crystal and sediment like linked hot, all change in thoughts as well as things. The author uses nature in his writing to compare the words of poems to building a riprap and by explaining the complexity of the writing in his poetry. Snyder also uses nature in many of his literary works. Nature plays a huge role in Beats writing. The other form of writing comes from the New York School of Poetry. The school is built around a coterie of homosexual men, and these writers wanted to capture life as it happens. This type of poetry was influenced by techniques from irony, surrealism, and modernism. We're going to look at Why I'm Not a Painter by Frank O'Hara. O'Hara talks about why he's not a painter. The poem helps with his identity as a poet and uses the common theme in the New York style of writing as life as it happens. Why I'm Not a Painter continued. In line 25, O'Hara states, I am a real poet. O'Hara says this to tell the audience what he is. Despite his infatuation with art, O'Hara is a poet whose words may be abstract but hold a deeper meaning to his audience. Next, we're going to compare and contrast the two types of writings and the authors. Both the schools are composed of people who go against the social norms of the time period. These people consisted of hippies and homosexuals. Although the two poets and schools are similar in that they are both groups of social outcasts, they offer two different forms of literature. The York School offers a more modernistic approach in their writing, while the Beat School offers a more naturalistic approach. Despite the differences, these schools impacted society in their writing by pushing for social norms to be broken. And one question I would like to ask all my fellow classmates out there is, how successful was the poetry of this time period in inspiring people to go against social norms and set up for a more open-minded future? I believe that these two forms of writing were very successful in making the world as we know it more open-minded. Without these two writings, I don't think we would be where we are today, like as a society. Thank you guys for your time and attention, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day.